Israel is a small country, but it carries immense spiritual weight. It is the only place on the planet where the three largest monotheistic religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, have their deepest roots. But what makes this place so unique and relevant to billions of people? At the heart of Israel lies Jerusalem, a sacred city, and for many the epicenter of faith. The Western Wall, one of the most important sites in Judaism, bears witness to prayers that have echoed for millennia. Nearby, the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, considered by Christians to be the site of Jesus' crucifixion and resurrection, attracts pilgrims from all over the world. Not far from there, the Al-Aqsa Mosque stands as a central symbol of Islam, revered by Muslims as the third holiest site. These landmarks, despite representing different religions, coexist in a way that only Israel can provide. This country, which both divides and unites at the same time, is not just a land of conflict, but a spiritual crossroads where history, faith, and culture intertwine. And what many may not know is that despite the religious disputes over the supremacy of these sites, they share a deep respect for what Israel represents. And this is just the first layer of a place that has much more to offer. The Dead Sea is undoubtedly one of the most intriguing places in Israel. Located 430 meters below sea level, it is the lowest point on Earth and at the same time, one of the oldest bodies of water in the world. The first thing that catches attention is the density of its waters, which are so salty that it is impossible to sink. Floating in the Dead Sea is a unique, almost surreal experience, and it attracts tourists from all corners of the globe. But what makes the Dead Sea even more fascinating isn't just the effortless floating, but its therapeutic value. The waters, combined with the desert climate of the region, have known medicinal properties for millennia. The high mineral content, such as magnesium, potassium, and calcium, makes the Dead Sea a popular destination for those seeking skin treatments and rejuvenation. Some people even report significant improvements in skin conditions like psoriasis and eczema after a simple dip. The Dead Sea is also known for its historical significance. The Qumran Caves, located nearby, house the famous Dead Sea Scrolls, ancient texts dating back over 2,000 years that offer a unique insight into the history and beliefs of the time. All of this makes the Dead Sea a place where past and present meet, and where mystery and medicine walk hand in hand. Despite being a small country in terms of territory, Israel has one of the most advanced and respected militaries in the world. The reason for this is not only its cutting-edge technology or the training of its soldiers, but the mandatory military service for all citizens, both men and women. Since the founding of the State of Israel, the Israel Defense Forces, IDF, has been the backbone of national security, and the rigorous training its members receive makes them some of the most prepared armed forces globally. But what really sets the Israeli military apart is its capacity for innovation. Israel's armed forces are pioneers in developing new technologies, from missile defense systems like the Iron Dome to combat drones and artificial intelligence. The constant need for protection in an unstable region has led the IDF to be a leader in technological solutions applied to the battlefield. Additionally, Israel's unique approach to its military is another characteristic that makes it so effective. Although military service is mandatory, it is viewed by many as a sacred duty and a way to contribute to the defense of a country that faces constant challenges. The unity generated by this service is one of the pillars of national cohesion, and this all-together mentality is what allows the Israeli military to overcome the difficulties of being a small country surrounded by neighbors in constant tension. Israel is a true giant of technological innovation, small in size but immense when it comes to impacting the world with its inventions. If Silicon Valley is synonymous with innovation in the United States, Israel is known as the Silicon Valley of the Middle East, with an impressive concentration of startups, research, and development. The country has one of the highest per capita rates of entrepreneurs in the world, and is home to some of the most innovative global companies. In addition to major tech companies like Waze and Mobileye, now globally recognized, Israel excels in various areas of technology, such as artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, biotechnology, and even agriculture. Technologies like drip irrigation, developed in Israel, have transformed arid areas into fertile lands, revolutionizing agriculture in desert climates. This wave of innovation is not just driven by the need to solve local problems, but by the unique, out-of-the-box mindset. The Israeli entrepreneurial spirit is deeply rooted in the country's education and culture, with an emphasis on encouraging creativity, collaboration, and acceptance of failure as part of the learning process. In Israel, failure is not seen as the end of a journey, but as an opportunity to learn and improve. Jerusalem is a city that defies time. There is no place in the world that combines the grandeur of history with the vibrancy of the present, like this sacred city. For over 3,000 years, Jerusalem has been the center of the world in spiritual, political, and cultural terms. For Jews, it is the site of Solomon's temple and the city of David. For Christians, it is where Jesus lived, died, and was resurrected. And for Muslims, it is the place of Muhammad's ascension to heaven. What makes Jerusalem unique is not only its religious importance, but its ability to live simultaneously in the past and the present. The ancient stones of the Western Wall, the narrow streets and the imposing mosques blend with the fast-paced rhythm of modern urban life. The city is a melting pot of cultures, where religious traditions and Western influences meet in a unique way. Jerusalem is a divided city, both physically and spiritually. Its divisions are visible, from the walls that separate the Jewish, Muslim, and Christian neighborhoods to disputes over sacred sites. However, no matter how much the city is a field of tensions and conflicts, it also represents a complex coexistence where different religions, cultures, and ideologies coexist, challenge each other, and, at the same time, intertwine in a way that only Jerusalem can do. Israel is an impressive example of how innovation can transform even the most challenging environments. With a large portion of its territory covered by desert and an arid climate, the country faced a huge natural obstacle in agricultural production. However, instead of seeing the desert as an enemy, Israel embraced it as a challenge to be conquered. And the solution came with some of the world's most advanced agricultural technologies. Drip irrigation, an Israeli invention, is perhaps the greatest example of this agricultural revolution. This technique, which delivers water directly to the base of plants, saves up to 50% of the water used in traditional methods and allows farming to be practiced in regions where water is scarce. The innovation doesn't stop there. Israel has also become a leader in hydroponic farming and vertical agriculture, practices that make it possible to produce food without the use of traditional soil, a true innovation for urban areas and desert regions. Israel's agricultural success is not limited to irrigation. The country is also one of the world's largest exporters of fruits, vegetables, and flowers, despite the adverse conditions. The combination of scientific research, high-quality agricultural education, and an entrepreneurial spirit led Israel to create a sustainable agricultural model that not only supplies the domestic market, but also exports solutions to other regions facing similar problems. Coffee in Israel is not just a drink. It is a deeply rooted tradition in daily life, an excuse to gather and socialize, a meeting point between friends, families, and even strangers. Walking through the streets of Tel Aviv, for example, it is impossible not to notice the cafes that are everywhere, with their laid-back atmosphere and unmistakable aroma. Turkish coffee, prepared thick and strong, is a true symbol of this culture, served in small cups that convey the idea that, often, the simplest things are the most important. But the relationship of Israelis with coffee goes beyond the drink. Cafes have become the heart of the cities, spaces where people discuss politics, art, and of course, share life stories. Tel Aviv, for example, has one of the most vibrant cafe scenes in the world, with establishments ranging from traditional to cutting-edge, each with its own charm and personality. Coffee is not only at the center of urban life, but also a point of cultural unity between the various influences that shape the country. The act of drinking coffee is also deeply tied to Israeli hospitality. When receiving a guest, It is practically a duty to offer a cup of coffee, symbolizing warmth and friendship. However, coffee is not just a social ritual. It is also a way of reflecting the essence of the country, simple, welcoming, and unhurried. A reminder that, no matter how busy the day is, there is always time for a pause. Jewish culture, with its rich history and millennia-old traditions, is not confined to the borders of Israel, but exerts a profound influence around the world. In Israel, religious celebrations like Yom Kippur and Hanukkah are more than dates on the calendar. They are intensely lived moments that represent not only faith but also resistance, unity, and the identity of a people. These celebrations impact both the everyday life of the country and how the rest of the world views and relates to Israel. Yom Kippur, for example, is the Day of Atonement, one of the holiest days for Jews. For 24 hours, the entire country enters a mode of reflection and repentance. The streets are deserted, cars do not circulate, and synagogues fill with people seeking forgiveness and spiritual renewal. This day is more than a religious celebration. It is an opportunity for introspection for each Jew, but also a reflection of the importance of inner peace and reconciliation for society as a whole. Hanukkah, on the other hand, celebrates the Jewish victory over the Greeks and the reclaiming of the Temple in Jerusalem. For 8 days, families light candles, celebrate with traditional foods, and share moments of unity. The story behind Hanukkah, of resistance and survival, is a constant reminder that Jewish culture is marked by overcoming adversity. For Jews in Israel and the diaspora, these celebrations are not only religious events, but moments of reaffirmation of identity and solidarity with those who share this cultural heritage. These rituals and festivals, though deeply rooted in Israel, have a global reach. Jewish traditions are celebrated in various parts of the world, with Jews keeping their customs alive while educating other cultures about their history, values, and faith. The impact of these celebrations goes beyond borders, becoming a bridge of understanding and respect between different nations and religions. Israel, with its unique combination of history, spirituality, innovation, and culture, is truly one of the most fascinating places on the planet. From the global impact of its religious traditions to technological innovation, and even everyday traditions like coffee and hospitality, this small country in the Middle East is a convergence point for multiple dimensions of the human experience. Every corner of Israel, whether it's the Dead Sea, Jerusalem, or its innovations in agriculture and technology, teaches us something about resilience, creativity, and the importance of faith in difficult times. And along this journey through Israel, it's impossible not to notice how much this country is capable of surprising, educating, and inspiring in ways that many may not have imagined. In the end, what Israel truly reveals to us is that its history, culture, and traditions are much more than geographical or religious sites. They are the reflection of an ongoing journey of overcoming, faith, and innovation. If you were fascinated by everything you saw and learned here, don't forget to like, comment on what surprised you most about Israel, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any new videos. Your opinion is always very important, so share your thoughts in the comments below. See you in the next video, where we will continue to explore more of the world and its fascinating stories.